Okay, so let's talk about this video that I watched a little bit ago because it has some synchronicities and things I've been talking about. I'm trying to scroll down with my touchpad. It doesn't seem to work very good anymore. So here is the YouTuber Scariest Movie Ever. I've watched a couple of things. Pretty good. So I do recommend this video, and I'll put the link down, but I just want to, let's watch it, and I just want to make a few comments here on this video.
Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. I got a video here for you. It's a real puzzle here, and I want to show you some very interesting pieces I've found and I've put together. And the whole point of showing you all of this is so that you'll know that there really is nothing new under the sun. A lot of these same stories and mythologies play out right before our very eyes, time and time again. Everything works in cycles. What we're going to be exploring here is a coded language, a language of symbols. And I believe this works on a few different levels. In one way, it is the elite, or the so-called Illuminati, or the shadow controllers' way of signaling each other. The initiated understand what to look for when it comes to these coded symbols. This is also going to show you really what time it is, what's going on right now, what season we're actually in. Because there are people who are actively working behind the scenes to finish this so-called beast system. They are preparing the way for the reign of Antichrist. There's a lot to cover here, so let's go ahead and get started. So before I show you all these things that I've found, it's really important that you...
Okay, so just real quickly, I did a video on the Babylon ritual, and there's a Mandela effect with that. And the big effect of that is that it involved different players, and it was Robert Heinlein in my reality instead of this guy Jack Parsons. And also in my reality, this ritual did not, it was not successful, according to the legend, that Heinlein like chickened out at the last moment, like he got too scared by these demons or whatever they were trying to raise. The whole purpose of the ritual was to conceive the Antichrist, and it was done in the late 50s. Memory's not so good this morning. You can look back anyway, the Babylon ritual. So the difference in this reality is that this ritual was successful. So it doesn't say that on any of the articles that I read that they conceived the Antichrist, but that's what it was about. That's what it was for. So I just want to put that in there.
You understand the Osiris myth. It's the most elaborate and influential story in ancient Egyptian mythology. It concerns the murder of the god Osiris. Osiris's murderer was his brother Set, and he usurped the throne. Meanwhile, Osiris's wife Isis, now that's very important to understand, Osiris's wife Isis restored her husband's body, allowing him to posthumously conceive a son with her. Parts of the myth appear in a wide variety of Egyptian texts, from funerary texts and...
Okay, so from what I remember, he got hacked apart for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was for. And she had to go around Egypt and gather all his body parts together and put him back together, like some kind of technology, some kind of cloning, or messing around with DNA. You know, I don't think she made a zombie, but he is shown as green. And that was the same in my reality, that he was shown sometimes as green.
Magical spells to short stories. So the story is, therefore, more detailed and more cohesive than any other ancient Egyptian myth. However, no Egyptian source gives a full account of the myth, and the sources vary widely in all the versions used. On a side note, this is why I've done videos in the past contesting this idea that Jesus was Horus. So a lot of people like to draw those conclusions. Because
yeah, that's again, you know, like, I don't know what he's going to say, but that's because of, like I've been talking about, they want to take all of these different entities and say, basically overlay them to make a pantheon, so that we'll worship them in this one world religion, so that no matter which myth we look at in ancient history, they'll be able to say, oh, that's this guy here, one of our 12 dudes or whatever. I think they'll probably have 12. You know, we'll look at any myth in ancient history, and they'll be able to say, and it's a lie. It's a lie, guys. They'll be able to say, well, this is so and so, this is our guy, and you worship him because, you know, in my belief and from my research, you know, there's a lot more than just 12, right? And definitely these 12 that they pick are going to be fallen angels, or they may be archon possessed humans. So that's what this is all about, with the constantly saying of this ancient god is the same as that ancient god is the same as that ancient god. You know, I think the vast majority of that is just lies and confusion. It's just sowing confusion, you know. So it's much easier to think of, you know, that there are a lot of these beings, or, you know, maybe several, say imagine it's a colonization. When you colonize another planet, you just send out a few, like, forward people, right? A few ships forward to establish the colony ahead of time, and then they get things going, and then they leave. So in this case, they left, but there's something else going on here with regards to the archons and a war. And now my touchpad is there. Okay, sorry about that. So anyway, to continue.
Again, through these writings, the Osiris myth has persisted after knowledge of most ancient Egyptian beliefs was lost. So to repeat, no Egyptian source gives a full account of the myth. But that's not what's exactly important right here. Now you understand the basic story. So by now you're probably aware that Isis has been going all around the world intentionally.
That's crazy. I've never seen that before. What is that? I've never. It looks old picture. Look at that dude. That's huge. Why would I never have seen that, you know? That wasn't on my earth.
And symbolically destroying artifacts and historical sites. But the one connection you may not have made with this is the fact that all of these artifacts and historical sites were dedicated to Nimrod, and Nimrod was the first Freemason, or the original builder. And what's very interesting to consider, again, with what I'm about to show you, is it's believed that another name for Nimrod, the world ruler and builder of the Tower of Babel, is Osiris. Most recently, Isis.
Again, I know I really lean on this, and I just want to belabor the point. See how he says, it's believed that another name for, that's what he said. It's believed that another name for. And you'll hear that phrase. But why? Why is it believed that? Where's the evidence? It's never, ever said why they believe that. Why is Osiris believed to be the same entity as
destroyed the 2,000-year-old Gate of God, which literally translates to Babel in Akkadian language.
Anyway, you get my point.
They've also destroyed Nimrod artifacts in Nimrud, Iraq, Palmyra. All of these sites associated with Baal artifacts in Nimrud, Iraq, Palmyra. all of these sites associated with Baal, or Baal. According to some scholars, Baal worship was created by Nimrod/Osiris himself at the Tower of Babel. So who is Isis, and why are they intentionally destroying Nimrod artifacts, sites, entryways, stargates? Is Isis trying to release or free her husband, Osiris? As for anything, at least in this case in reference to terminology we may use with this kind of a thing, it's occult research. It's always important to go back to the original meaning of all things, of all words, right? Because throughout years, things get twisted and distorted and changed. Words take on new meanings. So again, here we have Osiris and Isis, husband and wife. And now we have the so-called terrorist group called ISIS that's running around all through the Middle East and destroying all of these ancient artifacts. You see the connection? Let's move on. Just a few years ago when...
Okay. So I agree on one level with the symbolism there. But ultimately the symbolism is something that they tell to their lower level, like occultist people, to draw them in, to make them feel like they're learning something that's going to enlighten them, that's going to raise their frequency, right? I mean, this is what people want, but then, they get sucked in with this symbolism and the mystery of it and the wanting to know more. But ultimately, there's always a practical reason. So ISIS destroying the artifacts is really just about them being able to tell lies in the future. Destroying history, destroying points of reference, so that whatever lie they want to be able to tell in the future, they'll be able to do that, so they can get this one world religion in order.
When the terrorist group, quote-unquote ISIS, started going around and destroying all these places, it's a really interesting story that came out in the mainstream news. This right here is a tweet from Rihanna, the so-called Illuminati artist, Rihanna, or Illuminati tool, Rihanna. Goddess Isis, complete woman, model for future generations.
Okay, so is that like somebody's gross back, or what? What's going on there? What are we looking at in this body part?
What that is she's covering up her chest there, but just underneath her chest is a massive tattoo of Isis. And now it starts to get really weird. Here's a story from just a few years ago. Cyrus let me in. Rihanna pretends to be Scandal's Olivia Pope as she shares photos from visit to the White House. A few years ago, I covered this myself. It's really interesting the way that they code a lot of the news stories as well. And just the headline alone makes this whole story seem fairly innocuous. It's not really a big deal. Nothing going on here, folks. Just move on, right? So it turns out that Rihanna is a big fan of the hit TV show Scandal. And of course, that's Olivia Pope. That's the main character there. So we have Pope. That's a pretty obvious one, right? Trust me, bear with me. And when the singer visited the White House, it says on Monday she couldn't resist channeling her inner Olivia Pope and pretending to be on the show. Rihanna referenced the characters as she posted a series of snapshots to her Instagram page during an impromptu photo shoot. It says the 26-year-old particularly enjoyed posing with a public phone and shared a picture with the caption, "Cyrus let me in." Rihanna followed it up with another snap and joked that she was talking to the president in the show, who is portrayed by Tony Goldwyn, whose name happens to be Cyrus. So this is how the story is being sold, right? She's just a fan of Scandal, going out there to the White House, posing for a couple of pictures, and just acting like she's on the show Scandal. And for the public, on the surface, sure, that's the story. But there was much more going on with this than just some celebrity acting like she's on a TV show at the White House. Here's some of those photos, and what's going to be really key to
How is it not obvious that this woman is a hooker?
Understanding what this, I believe, ritual was, a public ritual right before our very eyes. The key is what's on Rihanna's dress. So I'll just scroll down here some. And there you go. So see, she actually made it in, right? Actually made it in to the White House. So you still think this is just some wacky celebrity just, kind of cruising by the White House, figured, hey, let's shoot a couple pictures out here. Nothing going on. I don't think so. Because we have ISIS, right? Rihanna ISIS outside the gate of the White House, Obama being inside, presumably, but yelling, Cyrus, let me in. Osiris, right? ISIS and Osiris. Cyrus, let me in. And the key that brings all that together is the image on her dress. Because we've seen that image before. The Large Hadron Collider at CERN. Here's a better picture. So now can you see it? I'm not going to go into all the symbolism around CERN right here, because most of you, if you're watching this video or you're familiar with my channel, you've seen all this stuff. I've covered it. A lot of other people have covered it as well. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. I mean, CERN, their logo is 666. And that's just the beginning. There's all kinds of symbolism around CERN.
Okay, so I thought this was interesting too, because it's almost like when I watched parts of this opera thing or whatever, and it's horrible, but it's almost like they're artificially trying to make synchronicities artificially, if you know what I'm saying. Trying to make dark frequency type synchronicities. So I wonder, I really do not believe that they are trying to bring a demon in through using CERN or anything else. I think it's that the veil is lifting naturally through a natural process and a natural cycle. And that CERN, that's all, I believe that it's all a big show, to gather money. And these people, well, we've had human traders amongst us all along. People that knew about these other dimensional creatures, and also fallen angels. They're probably the ones that taught us about this. About other dimensional creatures, about their lower frequency, and tricked us into lowering our own frequencies, so that these other creatures, when the veil is thin, are able to come in and occupy and dwell within our dimension or realm. So it's an invasion. It's an invasion. I feel bad a lot of times about my family and the people around me, because I know I'm not the same person that they knew. And so it's like I'm a body snatcher. I am. I mean, this isn't my body. So, we're there, and there are other body snatchers, is what I'm saying. And we can call them demons or whatever, aliens or from another dimension, but it's clear that on this earth and this planet, there's a concerted effort to take over the planet, to bust through. The veil is getting thin. Again, I believe that naturally, that is a natural process. That's what's part of what's happening to us. So there's a couple of different things happening to us. Anyway, I should just go on before I just ramble on too much here.
In fact, we're told that the scientists got together and they made this short film here called Symmetry. Symmetry, if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. And again, when you see this, you'll understand that these aren't just a bunch of scientists, right, just trying to be a little bit artsy and creative. There's a lot more going on, filled with all kinds of occult symbolism The overall message seems to be, even right here from the picture, here's the person coming up from the pit. You see CERN right there. This is as above, so below, where everything's inverted. At the top, you have the person in the black, the person in the white, in the magic circle. So again, you have the duality. A lot more going on with that than just...
So these people believe, they're going to magically use magic and technology, to they've betrayed us. All they're doing is giving up their bodies. And all of this symbolism and all of this crap, this ritual and stuff, is nothing more than a huge lie and deception about the truth about what really has happened to humans in their history, and the truth about, the truth about us and who we are. And, it's just like it says, is Satan deceived the whole world? Well, this is one big fat lie. It's just all a lie. All the symbolism, all their coding, all of that. It's just bullshit, intended to lower our frequencies. So, just look to Jesus. He's the highest authority. You know what I love about Jesus? I'll just say that. I love about Jesus that he was a man. He was a person. He was a human. So I don't want any of these little g gods or aliens or anybody else to represent me. I want Jesus. I want a human. So, yeah. And he's been given that authority. So we don't need symbolism. We don't need rituals. Although, you guys will probably say, well, yeah, you long reach, you've claimed symbols, and I have, because, I am doing that to counter this crap, this crap. So, anyway, let's just keep going here.
What I'm telling you, again, I've already covered it. Other people have as well. But you get the basic idea. Many of us believe that CERN really is messing with portals, messing with dimensions. And ultimately, a lot of us question whether or not they're literally trying to open the pit for the end times, or open that stargate to let the devil in. So we have Isis at the gate of the White House yelling for Osiris, to let her in, while she's wearing a massive image on her dress of the LHC, CERN, which many of us believe they're literally using to, again, mess with the dimensions, which many of us believe they're literally using to open the pit, or to open up doorways between dimensions. And that's not the first time I'd seen something coded like this, where they're using the name Cyrus in place of Osiris. It's a pretty easy logical jump to that, especially considering when they're using it and the symbolism that typically surrounds it. Matthew McConaughey has definitely been initiated. He understands all this stuff. He's been used in not just commercials, but even in True Detective, the first season. The whole season is all about the occult, about wealthy, high-level Satanists. That entire first season is just jam-packed with all kinds of occult symbolism, occult ideas, esoteric knowledge. It reminds me of an interview I read a long time ago from the creators of the TV show Lost. At one point, one of the guys said, what you're actually seeing on our show Lost is only 10% of the iceberg, above the water. But the majority of our time in the writer's room is actually spent constructing the entire part below that 10%. Because even the people at Lost understand the nature of the language of symbols, symbolism, esoteric knowledge, occult knowledge. That show, too, is filled with it. But the truth is, most shows are filled with this stuff on one level or another coming out of Hollywood. This is why for those of us, all of us that have the eyes to see this stuff and the understanding, it makes watching TV and movies and commercials and really everything, it makes it a whole new experience, right? because typically we know that whatever's going on screen right in front of us, that's not really the message. Usually there's something underneath. A good example is this car commercial right here. This is the Lincoln MKC advertisement, hinting at reviving the Egyptian gods, this one in particular being Osiris. Osiris also being the model for the Masonic Hiram Abif, who is the Masonic hanged man. And that's something else I've mentioned in the past, that typically with all these symbols and even a lot of these characters that keep popping up, multiple meanings behind these names. Multiple meanings behind a lot of these symbols. But this one right here is pretty straightforward. Again, for those of us who understand, right? But Matthew McConaughey is in his Lincoln, he's in the middle of a road, and then here's the bull. And of course, just behind the bull is the pyramid. And the reason that matters is because what they actually superimpose at one point on the bull. So Matthew's staring at the bull and he says, Old Cyrus, right? Old Cyrus. He doesn't say it straight like that, but just Old Cyrus. So here's Matthew McConaughey in his Lincoln facing down the bull. Pyramid structure in the back. And Matthew McConaughey says, Old Cyrus. 1,800 pounds of do whatever the heck you want. And even the 1800 is another code. You've seen that on my channel. You've seen it other places as well. That's the easy stuff. The 18, typically the 666. But what really made this commercial interesting is what they superimposed here over the bull's eye. So this right here is the part where Matthew McConaughey just finished saying Osiris or Old Cyrus. 1,800 pounds of do whatever the heck you want. And just as soon as he says this, the bull tilts its head slightly to the right. And the idea is you're about to see a shadow over the eye that's supposed to be the horn. At least that's the idea, right? And just as soon as the bull shifts his head, you can literally see the pyramid right there over the eye show up. So we'll go back and forth. There's that. There's that. So we have the bull and the road. And we could go on forever about all the symbolism with the bull. You have the bull and the road. Old Cyrus, pyramid structure behind him, and then a pyramid popping up right over his eye, the all-seeing eye, right? The pyramid in the eye. Osiris.
Hey, we see it, buddy. We see it.
And that was just one example I wanted to show you of how they do this. Same way they did with Rihanna. They can code this stuff in and put it out, and most people aren't going to get it. And as for Matthew McConaughey...
Okay. So what he's talking about there is, you know, they put their symbols out there subliminally, so that when you see them, you'll be drawn to it. It's a cheap psychological trick, also known as lesser magic. You know, then they'll do their horrible rituals to the little kids and lower the kids' frequency and attach those symbols to what they're doing, or use those symbols on the kid. You know, that's their disgusting lesser magic that they use to suck people in and eventually get you to lower your frequency so that this planet can be invaded. You know, and here, you know, it's just they want to degrade the image of Christ. You know, they want to confuse people, of course.
Hey, I'll do a bigger video sometime on True Detective Season 1, because again, it was just filled with stuff. But this right here is a sequence in the TV series. Just to give you an example, they obviously have him here portraying the Christ figure. So much so they actually put a cross right there on his forehead. And you can see it better on the right side there where it's been superimposed. The Egyptian deity Osiris was usually depicted as black, but sometimes in his guise as god of agriculture and vegetation, as green in color.
Yeah. Green man here. Green man. So, so that's not, I didn't, you know, you'll have to go back and watch my video, Green Man, if you didn't see it. No. Suppose it's the same Osiris here. He's green and he's like a man, but yeah, this is more like it. So I just want to say I do not believe they're the same at all. This is a trick. This is a deception. Here we go. Here's this is ridiculous. Look at that. That's just the, oh my God. I mean, it's Obama. It's like old Obama or something. And here he's depicted as the Green Man. You know, Obama. All right.
Obama is ideologically an environmentalist and is portrayed by Democrats as the ecologically correct, quote, green candidate. Osiris was proclaimed.
Okay. So, and this is funny. I mean, here's another thing about the lies, especially to this place, to this earth and this planet. Like, this is stupid. You know, nobody's gonna worship Obama. They wouldn't on my reality. On my reality, they would not worship Obama as the Green Man or fall into any of this crap about him being Osiris. You know, look at this artwork. Look at these eyes. You know, look at this halo Messiah-like thing, you know. It's so blatant, so blatant. You know, believe. You know, this isn't even really coded. This is just obvious, like, you know, worship him.
Claimed to be the world teacher, quote unquote, the great traveling teacher, God, quote unquote, who civilized the entire world. Barack Obama's travels to Israel and Europe, and really all around the world, have been remarkable in that sense. In Berlin, he declared, quote, "This is our moment. This is our time. We have it in our power," he assured the masses watching on television around the globe, to, quote, "remake the entire world." In that same speech in Berlin that many...
I don't know, it just strikes me as Mandela, you know, remake the entire world. He says, this is our time, you know. Sometimes, you guys, I get the weird impression it's almost like they're trying to imitate people who are affected.
People have dubbed the, quote, New World Order speech. Obama spoke of the necessity of uniting the three major world religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, which of course we know is an ultimate goal of the, quote, New World Order, or this beast system.
But they're gonna...
Obama also...
You know, they're gonna go further back. They're gonna take the three major religions, yes. And they're gonna, that's why they're destroying the artifacts. They're gonna go back. They're gonna go back and they're gonna say, you know, these three main religions stem from this one world religion. So they're gonna say that this one world religion existed before in the dark, deep past, and that it surfaced again with the arrival of the fallen angels. You know, so that's how they're gonna do it. You know, they're going to say, well, we split, and now now our three religions will come back together as one, right? And it'll make sense to people, especially these people that fall for stuff like this. This is ridiculous. This is a joke. Obama. Come on now.
Urged that the barriers between ethnic groups, tribes, and races be completely dissolved. Now, this is several years ago when he was saying this. And look at where we're at now. Immigrants, he said, must be welcomed by all nation states. Obama also announced that he considered himself a citizen not only of the United States, but a, quote, citizen of the world. Obama really seems to portray himself as some kind of priest for the whole world and its populace, just like the ancient pharaohs, whom he emulates. He is the, quote, one who promises to bring peace, prosperity, and plenty, a new life to the land. But at the same time, he threatens his rebellious enemies with ruthless and imminent military destruction. Osiris, after all, was also known as the, quote, Avenger. The pharaoh thought he was God on earth. He wanted to control the world. The babies born alive had to die. He expected royal treatment. His subjects were expendable. He was in many ways a socialistic dictator with anti-Semitic speeches and a staff filled with magicians and thugs. All of which brings me to this story. You guys probably remember this one from not long ago as well. American Pharaoh, the horse, won the Triple Crown of horse racing. It was interesting because they even misspelled the horse's name. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, with a capital P, is the title given to ancient Egyptian kings, but the lowercase pharaoh is synonymous with dictator. In many respects, you can say the same way Barack Obama's rise to the presidency as some may say a Kenyan Manchurian candidate, or maybe something worse, was predestined at birth and orchestrated by those that work in the shadows, let's say, right? American Pharaoh was also born and bred to be the first Triple Crown winner since 1978, at precisely this time in history. It's really interesting that the two have lined up.
Okay, so if Obama comes back, then I apparently want to install him as a pharaoh. But I don't know, are they gonna fall for this on this earth? Like, this is back in 2016. Man, you guys, I hope not Obama. Come on. I mean, haven't we had enough?
I find it really interesting that with all the other things we looked at here in the video, we also find this playing out. American Pharaoh wins Triple Crown. First time in a very long time. And of course, some of this could have been a stretch if it wasn't for all the confirmations. Remember, there's usually in stories like this a lot more going on just under the surface. So I certainly didn't think it was a mistake when, after they won the Triple Crown, the jockey put on his Monster Energy hat, which of course is his sponsor. But that's one of the easiest symbols out there. That's been decoded for a very long time. It's the 666, right? Unleash the beast. So Isis is destroying all of these ancient artifacts related to Nimrod, related to Osiris by extension. Isis goes to the gate of the White House and yells for Osiris to let her in, while she's wearing the design of the LHC CERN on her dress, which is used to open stargates, open portals, break dimensions, perhaps open the pit. And then we have the American Pharaoh winning the Triple Crown.
Yeah, all those things that he just mentioned probably are going to happen, but I think they're happening naturally. Like, this is a natural cycle and process that they probably have known about for a long time was coming, and have orchestrated to try to take advantage of this situation. It's like a changing of seasons, and they're trying so hard to own it. They tried so hard to hide it, and they did. And now they're trying to own it. And it's a huge lie. It's a huge lie. The frequency on this planet is really bad. And I want to say again, you guys, I think with this last shift, we've all been feeling it. The people are different. I just want you guys to just be careful out there and be aware of your surroundings and be aware of their symbols and their colors, because it's not just at the upper level, the higher level. It's all around us, and it's going to become more prominent. It's best to learn now. Just be careful.
With the 666. Also interesting to note, a lot of people think that what the Triple Crown means in relation to the American Pharaoh, Obama, is that he will get a third term, or that he will not be leaving office. So that about wraps this one up, folks. I just wanted to share this with you. It's a few connections I had made I thought were really interesting. Ultimately, the whole reason it's good to know this stuff is because it really shows you what time it is and where we're at. I believe stuff like this
I'll let him finish.
Just shows more and more that God, of course, is real. The devil is real. I personally believe Jesus is the key to our Heavenly Father, and that the Bible is real and true as well. Because we don't look for this stuff just to think, oh, cool, look, we can see the devil around us. It's important to see this stuff and know that the devil is around us, right? And that we have an escape. We don't have to be a part of this system. We don't have to be a zombie to this beast system. So anyway, thanks a lot for
we
checking
don't.
out the video, guys. I hope this helps. Take care out there, and I'll talk to you real soon.
Okay. So, and just real quick about this.
Cool. Look, we can see the devil around.
All right. So the way these faces are done, this is very advanced for anything that I had ever seen on my reality. I think that he's green because he's possessed by an archon. I think that's what that means. I don't know for sure. Going even more into this is Isis, this is Osiris. She goes on to marry her son Horus here. So this is the first couple of pedophilia on their little kid that probably, I don't know whether they would have appeared with like a mask on this kid's face or what, but this artwork is wild. I've never seen anything. Look how well this is filled in. Still, the paint and how nice this paint still is. This is crazy. If this is a real artifact, like this was not anything as old as what we saw in our reality. I just can't understand how it would be. Like this, look at how good this paint is still filled in and everything. It's really good, and look how advanced. Is this modern? I just don't know. I keep saying that, like I can't tell when I look at these pictures. I wish they would reference some of these photos. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Well, I do have one more little piece where I want to show you a really big Mandela effect that I had this morning. Kind of freaked me out. So sorry the video is so long. There was kind of a lot in here. But I'll talk to you guys later. I love ya. There's just one little bit left on this video. Stick around so you can see this big Mandela effect that I had personally. Okay. I'm freaking out, you guys. I had a bad effect. I had a big effect this morning. Seriously. Look at my eyes. No, really. Really, look, because my limbo ring is disappearing. It's totally, look how small it is. Yeah, and there's some green. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm totally changed this morning. I don't know how to take this anymore. This is... This is nuts. Seriously, you guys. Seriously, we had a big shift. Oh, my hair! Oh, my God! No, really? My limbo rings. It's messed up. I love you guys. God bless you. Morning. Morning. I want to show you guys my cat here. There's Stash. He doesn't like the camera. He's like, no. He's like, no. He has a mustache. He bites your chin. He does not like the camera. Anyway. Almost forgot. Have a good day, you guys. Alright? Just take it easy. Have a good Saturday. I love ya.